Good morning, CSL family. So good to see you here in the building today. It's a beautiful day outside. It's fabulous. And welcome online people, too. We're happy you're here with us today. You have Ted McClurg on bass today. Rex Miller is back with us today. My name's Phil Bowden. And we have Sandra Cavanaugh on vocals. Please give her a big hand.
I'm taking one small step instead of looking at the mountain. I'm taking one small step. It gets me closer to my goal. I'm taking one small step instead of looking, just sitting here looking at that mountain. Then it won't seem like I've got so far to go. I'm taking one small step instead of looking at that mountain. Taking one small step gets me closer to my goal. Taking one small step instead of looking at that mountain. Then it won't seem like I've got so far to go. I've got dreams, they're filled with passion, but I got fears that seem to pop up in my way. But I got power that's deep inside my soul. When I look too far and lose my way, it always lets me know that I gotta take one small step instead of looking at that mountain. Taking one small step gets me closer to my goal. Taking one small step instead of looking at that mountain. Then it won't seem like I've got so far to go. Now I got off the track and I couldn't find my way back. When I looked inside, the truth there could not be denied. I was making it harder than it had to be, just pushing and fighting till I found the key. That I gotta take one small step instead of looking at that mountain. Taking one small step brings me closer to my goal. Taking one small step instead of looking at that mountain. Then it won't seem like I've got so far to go. Rex. One small step. One small step. I'm taking one small step instead of looking at that mountain. Taking one small step gets me closer to my goal. Taking one small step instead of looking at that mountain. Then it won't seem like I've got so far to go. Oh no, it won't seem like I've got so far to go. Oh no, it won't seem like I've got so far to go. I'm taking little bitty baby, little bitty baby, little bitty baby, little bitty baby steps. I'm taking steps. One small step. I'm taking steps. One small step. I'm taking steps. One small step.
Good morning, family. It's good to see everybody. So, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Lisa Compton. I'm your practitioner for today. So, let's everybody get ready to open ourselves for our spiritual practices. Take a big deep breath in. Let go of everything, all the energy that got you here this morning, and we just become present to this now beautiful Sunday morning in Boise, Idaho. Getting present to the beautiful spirit and expression that each and every one is, bringing their light, their love, their energy, opening ourselves up, preparing our hearts and our minds for that spiritual awakening that's right there. It is my absolute joy and honor to introduce my beloved Monica Garcia, who will light the world religion candles from the Christ candle. In religious science, we perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. In lighting these candles, we honor the one family of humanity made up of over 4,000 religions and spiritual traditions throughout the world. We light the first candle for Buddhism. The fundamental goal of Buddhism is peace, inner and outer. First, we must understand the cause of peace, then we can direct our thoughts. We light this candle for our peaceful thoughts and peaceful hearts. We light the second candle for Hinduism. Gandhi defined the Hindu creed simply as the search after truth through nonviolent means. We light this candle to light the way for nonviolence. We light the third candle for Judaism. The Hebrew shalom literally means peace, but it also means completeness, wholeness, health, perfection, prosperity, and harmony. We light the candle for the spirit of shalom. We light the fourth candle for Christianity. In Matthew, the peace prayer begins, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be known as the children of God." We are the children of God. We are the peacemakers. We light this candle for all peacemakers. The fifth and final candle honors new thought. We teach that peace of God is at the center of our beings. We grow conscious of this peace, enter into this peace, are surrounded by peace, and it calms the troubled waters of experience. We light the candle for the peace within. So now we'll quiet our minds and we'll open our hearts for the message being sung by Sandra Cavanaugh.
Does any one of us really know just what the truth is, or where we'll find bliss? We follow any way the wind blows, that what matters doesn't really come and go. And right here in this moment is all we really need to make us whole. Just take a breath and drink it in. Let this moment fill your heart and warm your skin. We waste a life of precious moments waiting for better to begin. When all we really need to see is now, is all that needs to be. Let's drink it in. What if every single thing we've ever done was meant to bring us right to this moment? Do we really need to chase some far off sun? What if our only guide is living deep inside? Could it be that all we need to know was in our heart right from the start of this great show? And the key to this moment is remembering what we already know. Just take a breath and drink it in. Let this moment fill your heart and warm your skin. Let's not waste this precious moment waiting for better to begin. When all we'll ever need to see is here and now, if we can let it be and drink it in. Every moment holds a lifetime. Each question answers itself with endless lines to every story. Be mindful which ones you tell. Take a breath and drink it in. Let this moment fill your heart and warm your skin. For in every precious moment, a brand new story can begin. We're here, we're all we need to be. We're here, and now that we can see, let's drink it in.
Please join me in prayer. Please join me in joyful prayer. Taking a breath and knowing absolutely that this moment is so sacred and so beautiful with all your energy that is in this room. It is filled with nothing but the presence of God itself. Knowing that it is all around us and it expresses through each and every one of us as our own unique, beautiful, individual light of God. And it's from this place of knowing that I am one with God and that each of you are one of God, that I speak my word now for this service, for this day, for our lives together, knowing deeply we are connected in love and connection. We are all one in this beautiful presence of spirit. I say a special word for our beloved Reverend Jackie as she gets up today knowing that she's done her work and that spirit expresses through her in her talk today, and that it lands on fertile soil within us for our own special message that we came to hear. For this and so much more, I bless this service. I bless each and every one of you, and each and every one of you that you come in contact with, knowing that it flows out as a ripple right from where we are. Together we say Om, Shanti, Ashe, Amen, Aho, and so it is. And now Sandra Cavanaugh.
Give her a big hand.
Thank you. Walking and talking like children in our sleep. Standing at the precipice, afraid to take a leap. And we're certain we could fly, but that chasm seems so deep. I think it's time we awaken from the dream. A song of life and love is waiting to be sung, and it whispers to us all those things we knew when we were young. And it tells us we're not separate from the very air that fills our lungs. I think it's time we awaken from the dream. I think it's time we awaken from the dream and know that things are rarely what they seem, are rarely what they seem. And when we awaken, our journey can begin to this sacred space without us and within. A tapestry of life is what we are. Every thread graces another, no matter how near or far. Just breathing out, your breath caresses each and every star. I think it's time we awaken from the dream. Any of you old tropical cowboys in the audience can sing this chorus with me. I think it's time we awaken from the dream and know that things are rarely what they seem. And when we awaken, our journey can begin to that sacred space without us and within. When you breathe, it is God that breathes through you. We can never be apart, no matter what we do, for a lie is still a lie. Even when we swear it's true, I think it's time we awaken from the dream. I think it's time we awaken from the dream.
Sandra Cavanaugh and the CSL House Band, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the CSL, especially for those of you who are joining us on YouTube Live or watching us later on Facebook or YouTube. We want you to know how delighted we are that you are joining us this morning, and especially those of you who are in the sanctuary with us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, so, as many of you know, in early June I promised that we would do a series on one of my favorite authors and, frankly, one of my heroes, Brené Brown. And then, of course, Father's Day happened, and that was okay to get off track a little bit that week, but then the following week the Supreme Court threw me off the track. I'm still trying to catch up. But we're back because Brené Brown, over the years that I have known of Brené Brown, and I've known of her for over 15, almost 20 years, I instantly fell in love with this woman. It was as if she had reached into my brain, reached into my heart, and even worse was in those private moments of embarrassment, shame, and resentment that I had, and she just pulled it right out. But she didn't just pull it out. Then she gave us tools on how we can cope, how we can develop, how we can grow. So she is the author of over 5 #1 New York bestsellers. And over the years that I've been your minister, I have given at least 6 or 7 talks about that Brené Brown has influenced, pulling from her amazing books, The Power of Vulnerability, and so forth and so forth. And so we're going to talk a little bit today as we continue with her book, Atlas of the Heart. She, of course, has written Raising Strong, The Gifts of Imperfection, Braving the Wilderness. Her talk on vulnerability is one of the top 5 most listened to TED Talks, and I encourage you to please go to that and listen to it. The top 5 ever in the world. TED Talks. Listen, so it's amazing. And in all of her books, in all of her writings, in all of her podcasts, and the many, many things that Brené Brown does, she has 3 themes, 3 core, I want to call them core concepts, if you will, that run throughout all of her work, no matter if it's about shame or vulnerability or authenticity, whatever her work is, she has 3 core concepts. And I would like to suggest that if we could have 3 core concepts in our life that we lived by and that we measured everything that we did, think, speak, and do by these 3 core concepts, boy, our lives would change. But no, we've got to get fancy. We all have about 20, and of course we know that doesn't work. How you doing on those 10 or 20 that you've got? Okay, but here are her core concepts. I invite you to really take them in. Number 1, be you. All of you. Be you. All of you. Number 2, be all in. Be all in. Number 3, fall. Get up. Try again. I want you to think about living your life this way. Be you. All of you. The shadow, the happiness, the depression, the upsetness, the concern, the worry, the joy, the passion. Be all of you, she is saying. Don't keep anything from us. Be you. Be all of you. Number 2, she says, be all in. Think about this. How many times do we start to do something and go, mediocre, I'm not going to do this. What would happen if every single time, and we talked about this one week when I said my husband just wished I could stop being so passionate, and I gave him something, and you can go listen to that talk. I won't repeat it here, but you got to be passionate. You got to be all in everything in your life. And she says, finally, she says, fall, get up, try again. What would it be like if every single time we didn't do it do something to the perfection that we wanted to do it to? Is that English? Is that even correct? Is Deborah here? Is our Toastmaster here? All I'm just saying is, come on, guys. We're going to fall. We're going to fall. We're going to fail. We're not going to do our best every single time. And she says, so what? Fall. Get up. Try again. So I love her. And her latest book, titled Atlas of the Heart, Mapping Meaningful Connection and the Language of Human Experience. That's a big title, but it's Atlas of the Heart. You can get it many different ways. It has become truly one of my go-to books for whatever I'm going through. And boy, has this been a week. I don't know about y'all, but, I only get up here and talk about myself anyway on Sunday. So y'all can tune out if you want, but what a week. What a week. And so over and over I've gone to this resource, over and over. Before going into the details of the book, I just want to tell you that there is a mantra that Brené Brown uses every time she signs off on one of her web podcast or her TED Talks, and here's what she says: stay awkward, brave, and kind. Stay awkward, brave, and kind. Well, I don't know about you guys. I love it, and I love it. I want to spend a few minutes talking about this stay awkward, brave, and kind, this valediction that she uses, because it really is another distillation of her work. It really is one of the things that she says sums up everything that she believes in. Stay awkward, brave, and kind. Well, I have to admit something to you, that this was not one of my favorite things that Brené Brown has ever written, even though I'm telling you, I adore every word that comes out of that woman's mouth. Here's the thing. It's that word awkward. I don't like that word. And I feel a little awkward talking to y'all about this. I just don't like that word awkward. It's not at the top of my list of things to describe what I want to be in front of my congregation, or anybody for that matter. Awkward. I like kind, I like brave, but it's that awkward. And so I had to unpack that. I had to really do some research into what in the world is this woman talking about. And this week has been a week of amazing highs and lows for me. I've done a memorial services, I've done a wedding, I've had people criticize me, I've had people yell at me, I've had people contact me about things that has nothing to do with me, but I still have to handle it. I tell you something, I've been watching lots of different podcasts and listening to some of the graduation speeches, because I don't know, even though I'm not a graduate, I feel like I'm graduating from life every day, and I can get inspired by some of those graduation speeches. You really just want to go Google graduation speeches, and you can get inspired by some of these things. And so this week I was thinking, as I was talking to one of my neighbor kids who's going to graduate next year, now what advice am I going to give him next year? Stay awkward, brave, and kind. I'm not thinking I'm going to do this, but then I was thinking to myself, what advice would you give your younger self when you were graduating? What advice would you? Would it be this? And I got to say, staying authentic when awkwardness happens is a lot easier said than done. But Brené Brown so compellingly challenges us to be authentic with all of ourselves. What did she say? Be you, be all you. Now, is there any person sitting in this room or within the sound of my voice that has never had an awkward moment in their life? You've never felt awkward? Anybody? Because come on, you can come give this talk if that's the case. Inside of me, look, inside of me, when I feel foolish or I've done something or said something or I'm not feeling like I'm dressed exactly the way everybody else is dressed, come on, you're with me, women, on this. And I start to feel awkward. I hear this inner voice. from Brené Brown saying, go in, go all in. Be yourself. But then I hear that little adolescent teenager, the one that had the buck teeth and the eyebrows that went across her face, and the haircut that looked like a bowl had cut your hair. No, I'm not kidding. So it's probably preteen. I think by the time I was a teenager, my mother didn't dare try it. But I'm just saying, there's that preteen in me going, please don't be awkward. Please don't be awkward. Please don't embarrass me. Please don't embarrass me. So this idea of staying awkward is a little difficult for me. But here it is. Life is awkward sometimes. Life will be awkward. It absolutely will be awkward. Human beings are all flawed, period. We're flawed. And you want to remind me of that, do you? And somebody is saying, I will not be awkward. You think they don't contact me? Excuse me. It really was somebody saying, I will not be awkward. Okay. Somebody from Southern California. Oh my God. Actually, I'm waiting for some news on something, so I don't normally look. But anyway, life is awkward sometimes. You know that it is. We're flawed. Me, you, we're going to mess up. We're going to have a problem. I remember the day, remember this day last year when I came walking up the step and I had an injury that happened right on my foot in front of you. Now, you people watching on the camera really didn't see it, but everybody in the room got to see it. And I had to stand here holding on to a stand, a microphone stand, so that I could stand up. Talk about an awkward moment. Talk about a moment of embarrassing yourself in front of the entire world. We're going to have awkward moments in our lives. Nobody's perfect. Doesn't mean we shouldn't try to be. Doesn't mean we shouldn't try to improve. Of course we should. But it does mean, and Brene Brown is asking us, to give ourselves permission to be imperfect. I know the Bible verse says that we are made in the image and the likeness and out of that which is pure spirit itself. And I believe that with all of my heart. I know that's the truth. I know that that spiritual part of Jackie Holland is absolutely perfect and that there's no awkwardness in that perfection. But I also know that there's the human Jackie Holland that's got a little bit of awkwardness to her. And I say, thank you, Brene. And the next time somebody says that's a little awkward or that's not exactly really Jackie, I'm going to say, blame Brene. It's her fault. No. She puts awkward at the very front end of what she is saying. Stay awkward, brave, and kind. Now, you might have thought she would put kind first. No. Stay awkward. Be yourself, your whole self, your whole self. She says you don't have to feel like you have to sweep that awkward part of you under the rug or try to pretend it doesn't happen. Instead, what she says to us is lean into the power of vulnerability, transparency, and authenticity. Because if you can lean into that in that moment when you are awkward, when you are feeling like you don't fit in, when you're feeling like you're different or that maybe you've done something that's not quite within the norms, but on the other hand, you're all religious scientists, so of course you're awkward. The point is, what I'm saying here is that that is a moment that we can take to lean into our vulnerability, lean into being transparent, lean into being authentic. Brene Brown says over and over something that means more to me than almost anything that she says. She says, I am here to get it right, not to be right. I am here to get it right. I'm here to learn to live a life of authenticity and vulnerability and love and kindness and bravery. I'm here to get it right, not to be right. Because when we are trying to be right, and trust me, I am the queen of living that lifestyle. No one has a stronger desire to be right than me. I got to be right. But what happens when we live that life of being right, we can release ourselves into vulnerability, transparency, authenticity. But when we're trying to always, what we're doing is we're setting ourselves up to defend ourselves. If you're here to be right, there's no defense. To do right, there's no defense. Am I confusing myself this morning? You get what I'm trying to say? Which are you going to be? Be right or do right? Do right. Do right. Isn't that the name of Dudley Do Right? Okay, you're here to do right. When you're here to be right all the time, when you're here to be the idea of being right, I've got to be right, and no matter what it costs, then we're setting ourselves up to be defensive. And we're not allowing ourselves to hear things that we might have wanted or needed or desired to hear. So I think that phrase gets to the heart of her stay awkward, stay brave, be kind. I'm here to get it right, not to be right. Because she's saying, living every moment of your life, being the best that you can be, doing what you need to do to be kind, to be brave, to be generous, is the life we want to live. The second part of Brene Brown's admonition, if we want to call it that, or her request of you to stay awkward, brave, and kind, is brave. Brave. And lately we've all been called on to be brave, to stand up to power, to stand up to wrong, to speak the words that need to be spoken to power. To stand in our truth takes bravery. To fight for your family takes bravery and courage. To get married again takes courage. To be in relationship takes courage. Life takes courage. And so she says, stay awkward, stay brave. So I'll tell you, I don't want to, I feel a little awkward admitting to you that I watched that show, Game of Thrones. I liked it. I feel awkward admitting that I liked it. But anyway, some of you who've read the book or seen the television series, there's a time when young Bran Stark asks his father, can you still be brave if you're afraid? Can you still be brave if you're afraid? And does anybody remember what his daddy said? His daddy said, that's the only time you can be brave. Can you be brave if you're afraid? That's the only time you can be brave. The bravest among us are those who are afraid if they don't speak up, if they don't do something to turn the tides of injustice, inequality, unfairness. They are afraid that this will become our world. And from that fear grows courage. Be awkward. Be authentic, she say. Be brave. Be brave. Being brave doesn't mean that you're unafraid. I'm afraid a lot when I'm being brave, to be honest with you. But it means to act, to choose to act courageously, even when bravery requires you to push through the fear. So I'm asking you right now, what's going on in your life, in your world, that might be bringing up some fear for you? Something that's concerning you. The antidote, Brene Brown will tell you, is bravery, is courage. You must step through it. Sometimes it takes a lot, doesn't it, Lisa Compton? Yes, it does. There's also another quote by in one of Brene Brown's books, Dare to Lead, that I think a lot about all the time. She writes this. And this came about because, as I said, it's been a week of people calling me, and unfairly in some cases and fairly in some cases, being critical. Anybody else have that going on in your life? Somebody says something that maybe they didn't mean to sound critical, but it did, and it hurt your feelings, you know? Anybody? I'm the only one? Okay, good. Okay, I'll accept that. Fine. Y'all are all sociopaths. No, I'm kidding. Okay, here's the thing. Here's what she says about that. And this is a direct quote, and I love this quote. Don't grab hurtful comments and pull them close to you by rereading them or ruminating on them. Don't play with them by rehearsing your badass comeback. And whatever you do, don't pull hatefulness close to your heart. Whatever you do, do not pull hatefulness close to your heart. Let what's unproductive and hurtful drop at the feet of your unarmored self, of your authentic self, of your open self. Let what's unproductive and hurtful drop at the feet of your unarmored self. And no matter how much your self-doubt wants to scoop up the criticism and snuggle with the negativity so it can conform to its worst fears, or how eager the shame gremlins are to use the hurt to fortify your armor, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and find the strength to leave what's mean-spirited on the ground. You don't even need to stomp it or kick it away. Cruelty is cheap, easy, and chicken blank. Sorry, Renee. It doesn't, I know I'm quoting, but okay. It doesn't deserve your energy or your engagement. It doesn't deserve your energy or your engagement. Just step over the comments and keep daring. Always remember that armor is too heavy a price to pay to engage with cheap seat feedback. So I don't know who in your life might be criticizing or judging or speaking into your world. But I want you to remember this. Don't engage with it. Don't take it on. Don't bring hatefulness close to your heart. You don't have to stomp on it. You don't have to destroy it. You don't have to kick it away. All you have to do is remember who you are. Your vulnerability, your authenticity, your goodness, your kindness. So all week long, I've been thinking about this. So in Atlas of the Heart, it is her 10th book, by the way, for 15 years, she has been working on shame and resilience research. And she and her team asked participants in this study group to list all the emotions that they could. Remember, Atlas of the Heart is about identifying, defining, and speaking our emotions. That's what this book is about. Because until you can name it, you can't own it, or you can't change it. And so she did a research with 550,000 people. 550,000 people were asked this question. What are 3 emotions that you can name? Now, right now, what are 3 emotions that you can name? Anybody want to say what they are? Love, gratitude, joy, anger, I just heard, sadness, happiness. Got to speak out loud, really loud. Huh? Guilt. Insecurity. Oh, look at all of that. Okay. Do you want to know what the top 3 of all the responses, the average words that these 550,000 people responded were 3. Happy, sad, and angry. Those were the top: happy, sad, and angry. Is that what you said? Happy, sad, and angry. Okay, now, but I want you to listen to the depth of the emotions that were in this room, because you were being authentic. But, I mean, think about this. If all you can identify in your life is happy, sad, or angry, if those are the only emotions that you can identify, then what are you missing in this wide spectrum of emotionality in our life? Think about that for just a moment. And think about the difficulty of healing if you cannot recognize gratitude or lack of gratitude or shame or guilt. How are you going to heal it if it doesn't fit into your happy, sad, and angry? I think that's pretty unbelievable. And Brene Brown said this about this research. She said, when I think about this data, I think back to a quote from the philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein that she came across in college. And he said, the limits of my language mean the limits of my world. The limits of my language set the limits of my world. What he's saying here is having a larger emotional vocabulary will expand or deepen our experience of ourself, of one another, and of our world. If we look at everybody in this concept of you are either happy, sad, or angry, we are not leaving room for acceptance. We are not leaving room for compassion. We are not leaving room for the language of anything other than happy, sad, or angry. So then we define how people are reacting to us or to situations in the world based on those three words. The reality is, sometimes we are nowhere in those words when we are reacting. We are afraid sometimes, right? We are sad. Of course, that's one of the words. There's so many different words. What does it mean if the vastness of human emotion and experiences can only be expressed in these 3 words, she asked. So this book, Atlas of the Heart, she created so that we can define we can define there are 137 emotions that have been identified. 130 to 137 emotions that have been identified in science. That's a lot of emotions. Brené Brown in this book has encapsulated them into 87 different emotions, and then she has encapsulated those into 13 categories. So for example, she has categorized emotions, places that we go when things are too uncertain or too much for us. Included in that are stress, overwhelm, anxiety, worry, avoidance, excitement, dread, fear, vulnerability. So and this is the number one for me, where do I go emotionally when I am feeling uncertain or there's too much going on in my world or there's too much for me to do? These are the emotions. Here are some others 13. I'm just encouraging you to get this book because we're not going over all of them, obviously, today. Places we go when we compare. What would an emotion be there? Envy, jealousy, resentment, etc., right? Places we go when things don't go the way we planned them. Boredom, disappointment, expectation, regret, discouragement, resignation. Places we go when we're hurting. Anybody want to know what those emotions are? Anybody? Anybody hurting here? Anguish, hopelessness, despair, sadness, grief. Places we go with others. Places we go when we feel like we fall short. Places we go when life is good. Joy, happiness, calmness, contentment. Places we go when we feel wronged. Anger, contempt, disgust, humiliation, etc. And places we go to self-assess. This is what this book is about. But today, we're not talking about all of those. We're really just talking about where do we go when life gets overwhelming. And why do we want to have this language that's so important? We want to have language because it helps us make meaning of what's going on with ourselves and with others. It helps us to connect with others when we understand where they are. We may think she's angry by the look on her face, but really she's disappointed. And if we don't have the language, or that person does not have the language with which to communicate with us, then we don't know how to respond. We don't know how to pray. We don't know the meditation that we should be doing. There's very important reasons. We need to have a broader emotional language so that we can heal, so that we can learn, so that we can improve our own self-awareness, so that we can be better for ourselves and for others. On page 11, here's what she said. Without accurate language, we struggle to get the help we need. We don't always regulate or manage our emotions and experiences in a way that allows us to move through them productively. Our self-awareness is diminished if we don't have the language. We don't have the language. Language shows us that naming an experience doesn't give the experience more power. Naming it does not give it more power. It gives us the power of understanding and meaning. Now listen, in religious science, we teach very clearly that which you focus on will become your experience. We teach that, and we believe it. We say that which you focus on and that which you give your energy to will become your life's experience. Brené Brown is not disagreeing with that. She is simply saying that you name it, but you don't focus on it. That you name it, and then you understand it, and then you move to healing. You move to understanding. You move to compassion and oneness. Now, I've never had children, but I've had a lot of dogs. And I can tell you this. No, seriously. And I've often said this, that a dog cannot communicate in words what's going on with them. But they can communicate with emotions and also your inner knowing kind of knows. But sometimes we're wrong. And I think that must be true of a child. So if we teach our young people how to express emotions in language that makes sense, then we could help them, help themselves, and we could help them. And if we could just teach our dogs to do the same thing. I gave you the wrong number. I said 300 emotions. It's actually 150 emotions. and with some secondary emotions attached to them. It's over 300, but for purposes of her research, she used 150 emotions. The limits of my language mean the limits of my world. And the limits of my willingness to speak my truth, to be vulnerable, to say the awkward things that I need to say, form the limits of my world. We're the ones that are limiting our world, not others. By our inability to be vulnerable and speak how we feel. I'm afraid, I'm happy, I'm feeling guilty, I'm feeling resentful, I'm feeling misunderstood. I don't know what all your words are, but I have the 150 list for you if you want it. A technical term, by the way, for this capacity is called emotional granularity. Emotional granularity. Many studies show that having a limited emotional vocabulary makes it difficult to communicate our needs. This is, again, straight from her research, and to get support from others. In contrast, she says, expanding our emotional vocabulary is strongly coordinated with greater emotional regularity and psychosocial well-being. So you want to be healthy? Speak your truth. Because there is power in accurate naming. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. It's not fate. It's simply that you are staying in the unconsciousness. So having an atlas of our heart to help us expand our vocabulary helps us become conscious of what was previously unconscious. So I'm asking you now, what are some of the ways that you see your inability or your unwillingness or your fear of looking awkward by sharing your emotional truth? How has that impacted your life? Because I'm going to tell you something. It impacts my life greatly. Greatly. When I think about the places, as Brene Brown writes about, the places that we'll go when we're feeling uncertain, I think about Carrie Newcomer, who said, I've been traveling faster than my soul can go. I've been traveling faster than my soul can go. I've been moving at such a speed that my soul, my heart, my mind can't keep up with me. And where do you get when you do that? So her reaction to us is to say, stop, stop, stop. Stop moving faster than your soul can go. Stop moving faster than your heart can catch up with. Stop moving faster than you need to, because somewhere, somehow, I am not recognizing that if I can just keep moving, I can avoid the thing that's hurting me. I can avoid the thing that's hurting me. When Brene Brown was a young researcher and in college, she worked in a restaurant, and in a restaurant she says before I tell you that, she says that there's a lot of nuances in our vocabulary that really do matter. She said so. To her, she says, when we're stressed, here's what she says: stressed is being in the weeds, overwhelmed is being blown. Stressed is being in the weeds, overwhelmed is being blown. So, what she is saying here was when she was doing her research, she worked in a restaurant, and it was a really high-powered restaurant. And you would get overwhelmed. You would get overwhelmed, and you were moving faster than your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul could catch up with you. And so when that happened, you would go into the kitchen and you would say one of two things. The first thing you would say is, I'm in the weeds, and that means I'm struggling. I can't handle everything that's going on for me. And then somebody would say, how can I help you? What do you need? What do you need? I can take table 4. I can take table 6. But if you walked into the kitchen and you said, I'm blown, that's completely different. The kitchen got quiet. Nobody asks you how they can help you or what you need. Somebody then runs to the hostess to find out what tables you were doing, and they take over your tables. You see, this is where we get, I'm stressed, I'm in the weeds, but I don't ask for help. I don't let you know I'm in the weeds. I don't let you know that I'm struggling. And then I'm blown, and nothing can be done except for somebody to come and take over. The difference between being in the weeds and being blown and overwhelmed is that in the former state you can function, but in the latter one you can't. You can't come back. And the research shows that there is only one way to come back from being overwhelmed. There's only one way to come back from being blown, and that is to do absolutely nothing. Is to stand in nothing. And I want to modify that, Brene, sorry, because you know I adore you. But I'm going to add to that, to do absolutely nothing except call your practitioner. And say these words, I'm in the weeds. We won't ask if you've been smoking dope. We'll say, okay. We'll say, okay. See, that shows you how old I am. Here's what they'll say. Let's pray. You do absolutely nothing. You do absolutely nothing. You do absolutely nothing. So the next time you're feeling overwhelmed, give yourself time, permission, and space to take 10 minutes out to say, I can do absolutely nothing except call a practitioner. Or call my friend and say, I'm in the weeds. It's different. You should have called when you were stressed. You should have called when you were in the weeds, but now you're calling, saying, I'm blown. I'm just blown. I'm blown. I'm blown. Then do absolutely nothing except call and pray. We've just begun to explore the atlas of the heart and the emotions, the emotional vocabulary. I encourage you to take this book. We may talk about it maybe another week, but I encourage you to put this on your July/August reading list. I encourage you to take it and to look at your life and to say, in what areas, in which of these 13 areas do I need to really explore emotionally? And when I say explore emotionally, I don't mean you got to come up with a solution, that you have to know the answer to anything, because, my beloveds, we don't have to know the answer to anything, because we know the knower within that does know the answers. That we can lean into that power and that presence that I call God, that you can call by whatever name you want, higher power, universal intelligence, the divine love, whatever word works for you. All I know is that all of these words that I have given you today are simply to get you thinking about your life. In what areas of my life do I need a different vocabulary? In what areas of my life do I need to be more vulnerable? Do I need to be more authentic? Do I need to be willing to be awkward? And in what areas of my life am I brave? And where am I being called on right now to be braver and to be kind? What in my world is calling me to be kind? That's all you need to remember, because I'm telling you, you don't need to know how to solve any problem in your life. You do not need to know how. I don't care if you're 5 years old or you're 105 years old. There is the power and the presence and the love of God that is within you, that is doing its work through you, as you, in you right now. And so you can identify the things in your life that are not working, as I have identified the things that are not working in my life. But I don't sit there and say, now let me write a roadmap on how I'm going to solve this problem. No, I do not do that. I call my practitioner and I say, I have had an epiphany. I don't like being awkward. Help me. Pray with me. Know with me. And then I let it go. Because I trust and know and believe and have faith that there is a power in the universe greater than I am, and it is doing its work through me. And I too can do my work through it. And so let us turn within just for a moment, as I ask you to identify right now something in your life that needs to be named. Might be scary to name it. That's okay. and standing in the awareness of the one power, the one presence, the one source of life that is forever and ever and ever moving and having its powerful being through me. That this power is the creative, causative piece of the puzzle of the universe that is forever and ever recreating itself, manifesting as you and me and all people everywhere. For truly there is no separation between the divine creator and its beloved creation. For God and I are one, and God and every human being is one. And because of this oneness, we are all one human family together. No separation between us. And what impacts one impacts us all. We feel it, we know it, we believe it. And it is from this place of connection that the word is spoken this morning. The word is spoken for Ed and Ed's beloved roommate, Tima, as they are midwifing Tima's father through his last days on this planet. This is a blessed and holy, sacred act to know the truth, to hold the truth in the face of the mystery of life itself. And so we bless this family unit, and we bless his journey. We're holding Beth Ambrose and Barbara Valera in our hearts today as they lost their beloved 10-year-old dog, Bowden, this week. The pain of loss is deep, but we remember the love that this little tiny white puppy brought to Beth and Barbara for so many years. And we bless Bowden as he is dancing over the Rainbow Bridge right now, being met by Ashe and Finn and all of the dogs that have gone before him. In pain no more, with diabetes no more, hurting no more. And we hold Beth and Barbara in our hearts and send them so much love. And we simply speak a prayer right now for uncertainty, for unknowing, for that awkward place that we find ourselves when we don't know what's going on, and we fear the worst, and we have concerns. I just speak a word of comfort and love right now into that darkness. And I say, it's all right. It's all right. We may not know, but there is the Spirit of God that does know. The Creator that holds us, supports us, and loves us, knows all. And we can rest in our uncertainty now and allow it to be okay. We bless Monica and Lisa. All is well. All is well. And we rejoice today at the marriage of Jeremy Park and Shannon Goff. We rejoice with them. So much love yet to be shared in the many years to come as husband and wife. And so we give thanks for this and so much more as we open the prayer vortex right now to allow anyone to just speak the name of any individual they wish to receive prayer for, right into this vortex right here. We let it be so. Releasing it into the law that never fails, knowing that our prayers are returned to us fulfilled thereof. We say, thank you, Spirit, thank you, life, thank you, God. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen, amen, amen. Take a deep breath. Jeremy and Shannon, where are you? Are you here? You see, I don't have... Oh, there they are. Would you stand and let's just congratulate the newlyweds. Woo! Woo! Yes. I know it's embarrassing. They have one of the most beautiful weddings right by the river. I mean, it was just such a gorgeous thing, and people floated by and yelled out from their floats good wishes because they could tell it was a wedding. Wasn't that wonderful? Wasn't that it was amazing. People that you don't know are still blessing you with weddings. At this moment, you know, you heard me say in the prayer something about Lisa Compton and Monica, and I would like to invite them up to the stage and let Lisa share what's going on in her life, because I think you will be touched by it, and I believe that it might give you something to think about that you might want to participate in. Lisa Compton, come on up, and are you can come up, please, Monica, if you're comfortable, honey. Be awkward, yeah.
Be awkward. We're going to be awkward. So, Monica and I are in a little journey. Actually, it started with Monica's journey of kidney failure. So that happened last year for Monica. She's in total kidney failure. And so everybody's been testing to find a kidney for her, kidney donation. And all of our family and everybody has tested, and they're really particular about, you know, taking somebody's kidney if you're going to donate. Really
Very particular.
Very particular. Very picky. So they don't want smokers or, you know, all that. So, so I of course love and adore her to no end. There's like, it's infinite love. So I just made a pledge that I would go through the testing, and, you know, if I was a match, which you don't have to be a match, I learned, to give a kidney or for her to get a kidney. So I just made a pledge to Spirit that, hey, if I'm going to walk this journey, I'm just going to make myself open to that. So I went through the test and went to the next phase and went to the next phase, and then I'm in California doing testing and getting poked and prodded, and they say, oh, congratulations, you can give a kidney. So, which is wonderful. So that puts, I am not a direct match for Monica. I'm not a direct match, but when I give a kidney to somebody that needs a kidney nationwide, she gets one. She gets to the top of the list, and she gets a kidney. So I'm giving a kidney, and Monica's getting a kidney. So that's the journey that we're walking together in spirit and trusting and knowing and all of that. So.
And the reason that I asked Lisa to share this is because we think often that giving a kidney has to be a direct match to someone, and it does not. Now, I'm not suggesting that all of you go out and get a kidney, give a kidney, but I do want to say that there are thousands of people that are waiting for kidneys, and that if this is something that calls to you, you might want to just speak to Lisa Compton about her experience and how she feels about this amazing journey that she's on. And at the same time, I would like to ask you all to just please put out your hands to Lisa and Monica. Yes. And let's just feel the energy moving through your hands right now into this body temple. And repeat after me, Lisa and Monica. Lisa. We see you. We know who you are. Perfect expressions of God itself. And so we know and declare that this journey has perfection happening. That all is well. All is well. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you.
What an amazing journey. And I've been supporting Lisa through this journey and praying with her every second of it, and Monica. And Monica is the mother of 2 children, correct? 2. Correct. And her son is here, and her daughter is back there, looking like a snow woman. And they're here visiting this weekend. So let's just just add Monica and her family to your prayer list. You can't get enough prayer. We know what it's like to heal from something that doctors say you can't get healed from. Am I right, Kayla? Am I right? Yes, yes, yes. I want to invite Loretta Knowles up as you are getting ready to prepare your gift, your offering. We're going to go through some really quick announcements, but they're important. And after that will be Mary, so get yourself ready, Miss Mary.
So this Wednesday, please come on Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. We're going to have a special guest, Arlene Thompson. She's got a master's degree from Harvard, and she is a certified clinical hypnotherapist. She'll be doing a demonstration on how the subconscious mind accepts and believes everything that it hears and it sees, and she's going to offer us some useful tools that hypnotherapy offers us to heal from this and to remove the obstacles. So that's something that's happening. Also,
at 7 o'clock, right?
At 7 to 8:15. But I also want to remind you that we always have yoga, Kundalini yoga, every Wednesday at 5:30. I just want to make a quick announcement about Tuesdays. Lisa Compton leads the recovery group, bridge group between the 12 steps and the Course in and the Signs of Mind.
Right.
So, and we also have Course in Miracles, but this week we'll be not having that. We're going to have the special guest instead.
Thank you so much. And a few lucky people are going to get hypnotized, I understand. Mary Borg is making her way up to give a real fun announcement.
Hello, all you beautiful people. I feel so excited because our sanctuary is full of love today. And next Sunday, we're having a special event after service. We'd like all of you to come and join us at the barbecue. We're going to have a potluck barbecue. The meats, hamburgers, hot dogs, vegetarian hamburgers will be provided. And we would like to invite all of you to bring a side dish to share and just have some good community friendship with everyone. So
Thank
Sunday,
you. Right after
next
church.
Sunday after church.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Harold Whitman and some other of the men in the church are going to be cooking. There is a sign-up sheet in the back under the lit heart that you can sign up for what you're going to bring. Listen, for some of you men that don't like to cook, you can always help us buy the hamburger buns and the hot dog buns. Think about what is your favorite dish at a barbecue and bring it. And that'll be a lot of fun. It always works out that there's more than enough. And Shane, you're coming up. Sean's coming up. Shane's coming up. Shane, come up here. Gosh. When you learn a name wrong, you say it forever wrong. I'm not kidding you.
You can call me whatever you'd like.
Yeah, baby.
So.
Handsome is what I call him. I'm just saying handsome. That'll work.
That works too. I'll take that. Today.
Hold it up to your mouth.
Today at 2 p.m., we're having a drum circle. You guys are all welcome to join us. We're probably going to have enough instruments and chairs for most of you guys to join. It's at Kristen Armstrong Municipal Park. It's really great, especially with today's talk on vulnerability and authenticity, being able to, join a community of people that are, kind of doing some soul seeking themselves, finding their own rhythm and then doing it together. There's a lot of power in that. So super excited. We're actually bringing in a breathwork coach. So we're going to be doing some breath work with our rhythm, with the rhythms that we're creating. So it's going to be kind of dynamic.
Exciting. Very exciting. You don't have to have a drum. You don't have to know how to do a drum. You know, sometimes just sitting in those circles and getting the energy of the drumming is healing, and then to do the breath work. So that's at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Go get some lunch, then go to the Christian B. Armstrong Park. You can Google it. It's right off of Clearwater Drive. It's where they got married this weekend, and it's amazing. 2 o'clock is good, and it's about an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, like 2 to 3 hours.
You will be away before it's 100 degrees, I promise you. 100 degrees
really
at 5
shaded
o'clock,
out there.
okay?
We're good.
Just remember the temperature. Okay, and thank you so much, handsome. 2 other quick announcements is that this Thursday night coming up at 6:30, we are beginning our Science of Mind 2 class. It is called Self-Mastery. It is a class that will help you master yourself, giving you spiritual tools to help you learn how to grow. Again, as we're talking about in this class, to find the words, to work on yourself. It's a very interactive, fast-paced 8-week class or 6-week class. I can't remember now because I don't have the notes in front of me. You must have taken Science of Mind 1 or the Foundations course in order to take it. The class is 6:30 to 9:30. It includes dinner, so show up. There's also a sign-up sheet for the class in the back of the room. But if you want to just know more information or you want to talk to me, just email office@cslboise.org, office@cslboise.org. It's a really wonderful class, and I hope that you will join us if you've taken Science of Mind 1 within the last 5 years. You must have taken it within the last 5 years. So, but call me anyway, because the pandemic time kind of messed us up on that timeline. United Church is being a little bit more flexible. The last announcement is one of those boring technical announcements that I need to make, and that is, guys, our doors, the outer doors of this church aren't quite as reactive as we want them to be. And so when you go out the front doors, you have to make sure that you close those doors tightly. I came into the church on Wednesday, and the front door had been open since Sunday. But of course, we are divinely protected here, divinely surrounded. But, so here's what we're going to say. You may go out the front doors for as long as there's nothing in front of the door. We are then going to put a chair in front of the door, a stool in front of the door, which is going to signal you with a sign that says, go out the side door. So if you see those, don't do what some people did last year, which is go around the door, around the stool. Don't do that. Don't be that awkward. Or that authentic. I know you're a brat. You don't have to show it. No, but seriously, go out the side door. And again, if you are one of the last people to leave the church, which most of you won't be, but if you are one of the last people in the church, just turn around and make sure that door is closed by trying to open it. Thank you for your assistance with all of that. Thank you for your being with us today. Thank you for your love. Thank you, God. Ladies and gentlemen, Sandra Cavanaugh and the CSL House Band.
We haven't done the collection, Jackie. Sorry to be awkward.
Well, this is awkward. And the CSL Board of Trustees just said, she's gone. Let's just take our offering, and thank you. I'm sorry, I want to go drumming. I want to go. Let's just take a moment and remember why we give to this church. We give to this church because it is our spiritual home. And because we believe in the teachings of religious science at such a level that we want to ensure that this church continues to exist in town. I want to remind you that we are the only true New Thought church in Boise, Idaho, in Ada County, in Canyon County, There are some progressive churches, but we are the only New Thought, Ancient Wisdom church in this area. Unity used to be here, and Unity closed simply because it didn't have the support of its people. And I'm not saying that as any way of a judgment. I'm simply saying it because it happens. We exist because you support us. We are here because of your giving. There is no way that a church makes money other than through your largesse, through your love for your church and your giving of your time, your talent, and yes, your money. So I want to just let you know how grateful we are to you for your support. For those of you who give through e-giving, for those of you who write checks, for those of you who give money the old-fashioned way, cash, truly, it still works. And then, of course, there's our e-giving, and you can see up on the screen anytime you want, or again, go to cslboise.org, cslboise.org, and you can get all the information that you want. Also, I want a quick reminder that prayer is the very core belief of this church. After church, Lisa Compton is going to be in the prayer room, and she will be out here. So people want to talk to you, Lisa. People want to talk to you. So if you want to get prayer, Loretta Knowles is also here. Donna Sheedy is here. If any of you want prayer, these three practitioners can assist you with prayer today. And also, I know that people want to speak to Lisa as well about what we talked about. So you can call us at 208-375-0791 to get prayer. Or you can fill out a prayer request here in the sanctuary. Or you can write an email to prayers@cslboise.org, and you can receive prayer beginning this afternoon. You are not walking this road alone. These practitioners are here to pray with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's just take our gift, our offering in our hand, and say, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is. Amen, amen, amen. Ladies and gentlemen, Sandra Cavanaugh.
Head McClurg. Been feeling down, feeling beat. I've been bruised by all the heat. I've been trying to get ahead. At times I feel like giving up instead, but I know I gotta keep that passion burning in my soul. It's so hard to find my way. There's so much to push through every day. Mountains to climb. I'm gonna use my will. I'm gonna take my time. Keep that passion burning in my soul. 'Cause you don't know just what you'll find when you get to the other side. So don't hesitate, it might be too late. Just take it one day at a time. Take a chance and dive right in. I know now is the time to win. Life is just a game, and when it ends, it all ends up the same. Keep that passion burning in my soul. To the other side, so don't hesitate. You know it might be too late. Just take it one day at a time. Yeah, when I take a look inside my heart, I know now is the time to start. I'm gonna find the inspiration, use my imagination. I'm gonna keep that passion
Please stand and receive your blessing. Blessing each and every one of you with a path of joy, delight, and so much fun. And so it is.